I have an issue with my TYM and it just won't run that mower. And I'm having to take a drastic measure because of that. And this morning, I'm going to pick up a new tractor. It's just, you know, sometimes things like this happen. And I mean, it just is what it is. Hey, what's going on, folks? Bienvenue. My name is Wade, and this is Sabine River Valley. Well, it is 6:44 in the morning, and in today's video, hopefully, we're going to be talking about a new flail mower from Victory. But unfortunately, the TYM won't run it. And because of that, I'm gonna have to take drastic measures. And to do that, I'm gonna have to put the trailer on the truck. So let me go get this done, and then we'll talk about what's going on. All right, well, we're on our way. You're like, where are we going? So I told you that I have an issue with my TYM and it just won't run that mower. And I'm having to take a drastic measure because of that. And this morning, I'm going to pick up a new tractor. It's just, you know, sometimes things like this happen. And I mean, it just is what it is. So I called my dealer and I said, hey man, I've got this mower here that I really want to show off. I really want to, you know, do a good video on. I'm really excited about it. The problem is I've got this T654 and, you know, it just won't run it. And I really feel like this mower, you know, I think there's more people out there that are going to be really interested in this mower because you only need like a 25 horsepower tractor to run it. And my T654 is just too big for it. So I need a smaller tractor to run this with. No, I know that was a little bit of clickbait, a little bit of drama, but there's nothing wrong with my T654. It's just that this mower is made for a smaller tractor and I don't have that. I do have like an 18 horsepower tractor, but it's nowhere near, you know, big enough to run this. But this mower is made for 25 horsepower and up. And there's a few different versions of it. I believe this one is the 56-inch version that we're gonna go get. Now, here's the deal. You've got to have a tractor with, at minimum, dual rear remotes to be able to run one of these, because just like my big mower, this one is a ditch bank flail mower or an embankment flail mower, whatever you want to call that. This is one of them that, you know, will reach out, it'll lift up, you know, vertically and reach over. You can get pond banks with it. You can get, you know, you can get limbs that are sticking out right on a trail. You can raise that up. So I called, you know, my dealer up and explained that to him, you know, and told him what's going on. And I'm gonna tell you something. So normally when I deal with dealers, I don't walk away with a good feeling, right? I go out and buy a vehicle or something. You know, it's rare that I, you know, really, like, I would want to sit there and talk for hours to that dealer. I usually want to get out of there quick. You know, you feel like you want to go home and take a shower. I don't know. And, but sometimes you find some good ones. Every once in a while, you do find some good ones. And I just, you know, through all of this have come across some really good tractor dealerships, really good dealers who seem to really care about their customers, right? Not just for the sale, but the after sale and for years after that. And this dealer is that. He's an owner's dealer. I don't know of a better way of saying that. He's an owner's dealer. He is the type of dealer that you want to have as an owner. He's taken care of me. I feel like he took care of me on the sale. And, you know, you don't always know, but I feel like he took care of me on the sale. He did go above and beyond to get me the tractor that I wanted, and it didn't cost me anything more than the one that he already had on the lot. So that right there kind of, you know, that right there is kind of a plus, right? If a dealer's got to go out of their way to get you something, and he did have to go out of his way to do that. If they've got to go out of their way to get you exactly what you want, and they don't bump up the price for doing that, I mean, that's a big deal. But I bought other implements from him. You know, I've done a bunch of stuff, and I've wanted to do a video. I just appreciate him so much. I want to do a video. I've wanted to with him for a long time, and it just never seems to work out. But I called him up and I told him, hey, I need, you know, a smaller tractor. I'm doing a video on it. You know, would you be interested? Would you be willing to let me use one of your tractors? And, you know, and I explained what it was, and we started talking about it, and he goes, well, you know, those size tractors don't always just come with dual rear remotes. That's usually an option, right? They might come with one set of rear remotes, but they don't normally come with dual rear remotes to run that type. So we'd have to install a second rear remote, and we've got one of those in the shop. So yeah, let me get one of my guys to install that, and you come pick it up. And I mean, that's just that right there. Now I'm going to show the dealership off, and we're going to talk to him here in a bit. And I mean, but I'm a small channel right now, right? I think we had 2,700 viewers, subscribers the other day. So small channel, it's, people see it, but most time companies only want to work with, 10,000, 20, 30, 50, 100,000 subscriber channels. And he was like, didn't even blink, didn't even have to think about it. Like, was just like, yeah, man, I will, we'll get you taken care of. So anyway, I mean, that's just awesome. So we're taking the drive. It takes me about an hour to get to him. And we're taking the drive, got the trailer on the back. We're gonna go up here. We're gonna take a look at the tractor. We're gonna pick it up, we'll bring it back, and then we'll work on this mower. So I'll get back to you in just a little bit. So I'm here about an hour away from Sabine River Valley, and I'm in Caddo Mills, Texas, and I'm at my first ever tractor dealership, Big Tex Tractor. And I'm here with the owner of Big Tex Tractor, and his name is Leon. So hey, Leon,
Wade.
how are you doing?
Very good. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'm glad to be a part of your video.
Thank you. I'm glad that you're a part of the video.
Good deal.
We've been trying to do a video together for quite a while, and things just happen, and it's never been able to happen. So hopefully we'll get this one done.
Yeah, hopefully.
First off, I needed a tractor to show a flow mower off in, and you were just totally willing to help me out. And even more than that, you went above and beyond and added an extra set of rear remotes onto this.
Yes.
To do that.
Yes.
And I'm so appreciative of that. I mean, that's just huge. So, but do you want to tell us about this tractor, this brand? Because I'm used to rolling in a red tractor. That's what most people see me in. So what are we looking at here today?
So when Wade offered to do the video on the flail mower that he had to deal with, it was in the 50 inches range, and we talked about which tractor would be the best. So we decided to pick out a 32 horsepower LS tractor. This will have plenty of power to handle that unit. So this is an MT232H. There's an open station, and it's a premium model.
Well, I mean, this seems like a great tractor, and I really appreciate you trusting me with this and letting me use this and show this off. So hopefully we can get some really good footage of this thing working and let everyone know, what they can expect out of this.
Okay.
So Leon, can you tell us a little bit about the history of Big Tex Tractor and what makes it unique and special to the local community of tractor owners?
So I have been in the ag industry for 25th year. This is my 25th year.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. I previously worked for my brother in Georgia, came to Texas, opened a dealer in Dallas, importing thousands of tractors a year, and I got tired of it by dealing with refurbished tractor. So in 2015, we decided to transition to new tractor, and I left the old business to my other brothers. So during the time searching for the location, we decided to open out east, which is pretty wide open. And I believe that east here need a tractor service center, and we came up with the name. That name, basically, more Texans.
Yeah.
We're just going to dedicate the market to Texan, but as the business it grows so much, we just expand out beyond the Texas area.
So you were all about Texas, but the business did so well that now you're even branching out of Texas.
Yes.
Supporting everyone around the area.
That's exactly right.
Even outside of the area. So
Yes.
That's great.
So right now, Big Tex is about 11 years old in Texas, in the same city. We grow every year, and we really serious into not only sell, but after sale, post sales. We are very dedicated to service and parts. We're willing to go extra mile for customer. It doesn't matter where and who they bought from, will help them regardless.
That's great. I know that me being your customer, you've done a lot for me. I mean, you've been there to answer questions. I mean, I just like talking tractors, and you would stop what you were doing and just come out and talk tractors. I'll also say this. So I wanted a specific tractor when I bought my tractor, and Leon had one similar, very similar to what I was buying right here on the lot. And he had already given me a price on that, but I wanted a couple of different things on it, very specific. And he went out of his way to bring that specific tractor in for me and didn't charge me a different price on it. So that was really big to me. That was really something that you would have done all that work to bring in another tractor that you didn't even have on the lot. You didn't have to do that. You know, you could have said, yeah, we can do that. We can charge you shipping or freight, right, to bring it in, and you didn't do any of that. You just brought it in for me, and I got the exact tractor that I wanted. So, I mean, that right there was a sign to me that, wait, this isn't your typical dealership you're working with. This is a good dealership.
Well, that is my work ethic, and that's how I think. If I don't do it, then just stay home. If I do it, then I need to be out here and do it right. I'm here to serve customer. I'm here to please customer.
Well, Leon, I really appreciate everything that you're doing here. So let's get this thing loaded up, and I'm gonna get cutting with it.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Glad to be a part of the channel.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
All right, folks, so we're home. Made it home. Tractor got here safe, and I gotta tell you, looks pretty good sitting up here. Looks pretty good. And I'm just gonna be honest with you. You know, LS changed over to this blue maybe a year ago now, maybe not even a year ago. I think this year at the National Farm Machinery Show was when they showed that offer. It might have been last year's, I don't remember. But they changed over to this new blue, and I absolutely love it. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if anybody from LS will watch this, but I would love to have an option with that blue on those wheels. Now, people can argue with me about that. You know, it is what it is, but I think it would look great. I think it would look sharp. I'd love that option. But anyway, all right, before we can actually use this tractor, we've got to take care of this thing. This is the Victory Trim 56. It's a standard duty offset ditch bank flail mower. We've got to get it out of this crate. We got to get all the pieces of it put together, right? Remember from the other mower video, the bigger one, the tank, we had some stuff to put together because of the way the offset works with the hitch and everything on the tractor. So you got to do the same thing with this. Hopefully it won't be so tough because, you know, it's not nearly as heavy as that big, you know, that big mower. This is for your 25 horsepower tractor, right? This is for your smaller tractor. So, you know, hopefully this is going to be a little bit easier. But I'm going to tell you something. It's hot. It's so hot. It's finally Texas hot. This is what we're used to. And I mean, it's going to get hotter, but it's so hot right now. So I'm going to do as much as I can. I'm going to get to work on this. I'm going to drink me some water, stay hydrated, but I'm going to do as much work as I can right now. And I'm just going to set you up and let you, you know, watch it. I'll put some music to getting it out of this thing. I'm not going to stand out here and just talk about everything that's going on. You know what it looks like to take one of these crates apart. They're bolts and nuts. You're just taking those off. We can get it all wrapped. I'll come back to you though whenever we start talking about the different pieces, and I'll show those pieces off. All right, so let's get to it. All right. I'm using gloves for a lot of this because this metal is hot. So this is the swing arm. There's a hydraulic cylinder on this and some cables already attached. So I'm gonna have to be careful not to damage those cables. So that actually wasn't bad at all if you get a good grip on both sides and not try to handle it on one side, getting it out with another heavy end on the other end, dragging you down. If you can get on both sides of that and lift up, that wasn't bad at all. Let's see how heavy. Yeah. So heavy, but not too bad. If I can lift it, you can lift it. It's this way. That's the way that goes on. All right. Come on. There it is. Oh, man. All right. All right, got both of those in there. Now I've got to turn this swing arm and then so I can get it into the position to put the hitch assembly on. So let me get this turned and then we'll get the hitch assembly on this. All right. Oh, it's hot. Hot. Oh, what's that? There. Whew, that's hot. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna take the pressure off these lines, hopefully. So I'm gonna turn this to the on position without cranking it. And then I'm gonna open both of these, leave them open for a second. Neither one of these seem to be a detent. So we'll leave that open. That's gonna make it a lot easier to connect to them back here. But first, before I do that, there's something I'm gonna do to these. And I imagine a few of you know what I'm talking about. All right, if you've watched any of my videos, you know when I'm dealing with hydraulics, like with a mower on a tractor, I am going to put flow restrictors on the back of this so that I can keep this from swinging out too fast, being too jerky. Now it's gonna slow it down. It really does slow it down, but I'm okay with that. I'm very comfortable with the speed that it brings it to. So I'm gonna not change them out, I'm just gonna add these restrictors. Now I bought these restrictors from boltonhooks.com. These are BSPP restrictors. So they do not need any kind of adapter to go between any of this to make this work. Also, you don't need any kind of Teflon tape or any kind of pipe sealant or anything, because these use bonded washers to make the seal. Also, we have a affiliate code. I'm not getting paid anything. I say affiliate, but look, Ken at Bolt on Hooks has just really helped me out, and it's been really cool to work with him, helping me to find the right adapters. He's actually ordered some for me to try out, which have been great. And so I just, I'm trying to help people go to, locate stuff like this, and then, get there, and then also save you guys that are watching me a little bit of money. I think you get like maybe a 5% discount by using code SRV at checkout. So anyway, go to Bolt on Hooks if you would like some BSPP restrictors, but they also do MPT. I'm pretty sure that they do Boss O-ring, or is that SAE also? SAE? Is it also SAE, the same thing as Boss O-ring? Maybe. NPT, all of that. They have those. So anyway, they've got pretty much everything that you can think of. So I'm just gonna put these on, and they just, it's just great. There's no adapters, no tapered anything. It's just a nice fit, and then you just lock it on. All right, we got all 4 of those. Now, we just need to figure out which hoses go where. So you can see from the seat that we have green is the closest, blue is the furthest away. Blue will be, in my head, the easiest one to reach over and grab. I don't know, it's the natural one. Let me say it that way. So blue will be the natural one for me to use most often. Green, it could be the opposite way around for you. But for me, a lot of times when I'm cutting out here, I won't, when I'm just cutting a ditch bank or something like that, I'll leave it out at that distance. And it's really the tilting it up in the air, or, or down at an angle, right? It's tipping it at an angle up or down is what I'm mostly adjusting the most. And so I'm gonna put that at that farthest away handle so that I'm using that one most often. So I'm gonna connect that one to this blue handle right here. And then the one that moves the mower out and in, I'm gonna connect to this green handle. You can flip that around and do it however you want. That's just what feels the best to me when I'm operating it. And the fact that neither one of these have detent on them, it doesn't really matter which one you put it in. Detent is great for the angled direction of the mower, because the reverse valve on a detent is actually float. So, detent is just a lock. It's just a locking mechanism. So if your loader, right, your loader locks forward and puts your loader into float, the lock is detent, right? But the float is not detent. It's just float is now you're able to let that loader, that or whatever you're using on the front, just kind of move with the contour of the ground, right? Well, it's the same thing on the rear valve. If you've got detent, most of the time, actually I've never seen it where it's not this way, but I guess it could be. But most of the time, when you put it in forward detent, you're just letting the fluid flow, When it's in the forward detent, it's just flowing. So that'd be great for a backhoe. But if you want to pull it backwards and put it in detent, that's actually putting it into a float mode. So if you've got your tractor, if you've got your mower at an angle on the ground, well, then you can put it in that float mode, and as you're cutting, it'll move. So if the embankment moves or anything, it'll allow that mower to move with that angle. So that's why detent is actually really good if you've got one of these mowers. It works really well with it. But we don't have detent on this, so it doesn't matter which one I put this in. I don't know, I kind of think there might be an option to have detent on one of these, but you'd have to check with your dealer. Okay, so this right here on this cylinder, this is the cylinder that moves this in the angled direction. Fluid coming in from here is going to push that arm out, and it's going to push the mower down. Fluid going in here is actually being redirected down this tube into here, and it'll push that cylinder arm in, and it'll pull that cylinder up. So if I want, when I push forward on that remote, the lever, where I push forward, if I want this to go down, then this right here, this hose needs to be the one that goes into the forward remote on the back of the tractor. So I believe that's going to be the first one, the left one, but I'm not sure, but we'll try it this way, and if it's not, then we'll flip it around on there. There should be no pressure on these because I released the pressure on that when I turned the key just to the on position, but also, you know, these were open when I was putting those restrictors on. So there should be no pressure at all in these lines anywhere to make this a hard connection. There we go. You can see on these connections that you've got one that's higher than the other. So that means that they want you to run these cables in this direction. So they want this one to sit over that one. They don't want it to go that way. So that's my guess. So I'm gonna kind of turn them this way. I'll probably leave them just like this, where they're at. I don't want to block this grease zerk because I need to get to that. So I don't want that to go over anymore. So I'm gonna tighten them down right here, and I think they should be just fine right there. All right, so to push the mower out, is this one or is this one? Is this forward or is this forward? I'm not sure. I'm gonna treat this one as forward. Or should I? I really don't know. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna put this forward and this in reverse. So this is the one that would push the cylinder ram, all of that out. So I'm gonna hook it up here. And then this one would pull it back in. So I'm gonna hook it up here. But we'll find out here. There we go. We'll find out here in just a minute if that's right or not. So we've got all these connected. We've got everything tight. We've got everything tight over here. Now we just need to raise this mower up and bring it in, kind of get it under control, and we can get this rest of this crate that it was shipped in on out and the pallet out of here. Now I'm gonna have to cycle it a couple times to get the fluid into the cylinders. So it might act weird the first few times I do this. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of send some fluid. Oh yeah, that was correct. So now we have fluid in there. So now I can lift it up and not worry about it dropping down. Here we go. All right. All right, so we got it there. Now, let's see if this brings it in. Oh, it does. That's exactly right. Look at that. Let's go out. Here we go. Yeah, and it's smooth. It's not like jerky, and that's all because of those flow restrictors. In. Out. Oh yeah, that's great. All right, let's see. I'm gonna lift it up higher and then turn it sideways. There we go. All right. That's great, man. I'm telling y'all, that's really nice. You know, on my bigger mower and bigger tractor, that mower is so heavy that I never get this smooth. Even with the flow restrictors, it's still not. I mean, it's slow. It is slow, but it's not. This is like you can really finely adjust this. Oh man, I like this a lot. Oh, that's so nice. Look at that. All right, I'm gonna let it down just a hair, and then that ought to be good. But that'll let us get the frame and the bottom of the crate and the pallet out of the way. Okay, so we've got the tractor connected. We've got the hydraulic figured out, the hydraulic lines figured out. We've got them in the right place. But this tractor, just like the larger ones, it has the option, or not the option, it's not an option, it just comes with it. It has the cable management system for this. See how these cables are just kind of hanging off? A lot of times companies will just have a loop like this or something along the frame to let the cables hang in. But when you do that, they can get into some places that you don't want them to and tear something up. Well, Victory has taken all of these, the trim, the torque, the tank, all three of those, they've taken them and they've added this hose management to this system so that you can run the hoses exactly where they're supposed to go and never worry about them getting snagged, getting them into a position that they're not supposed to. So I'm gonna get that set up. It's just they just screw in. Also, you know, these things don't ship with gear oil. So I've got some 80W90. That's what the manual calls for. It says 85/90. That's what it says. So I'm thinking that they're just saying, you know, somewhere in your weight, you need around a 85 to 90 weight. I'm guessing that's what they mean. So 80W90, you're going to get right in between that. So we're going to go with that. It says 1 quart. We'll see. But so we got to fill that up, and then we've got to, well, I'm gonna have to cut the PTO shaft. So, you know, make sure it matches the length for this tractor. But anyway, let me go ahead and get the cables taken care of. The sun is going down, which it feels much better right now. I've gone in a couple times now and taken a break. Had to sit down. I'm soaked. I don't know if it comes through on camera, but I'm just soaking wet. So anyway, it has been hot, but it feels a little better now. I think it's dropped under 90 degrees, which is nice. So yeah, I'll get done as much as I can before the sun goes down, and we'll probably really get to cutting with this tomorrow. So let me get to this and get to everything I can before it gets too late. All right, next morning, I'm gonna try to get some things knocked out real quick. Something that I didn't mention last night is that I've got to hook up these onto the back of it. So it's just this is what you plug your couplers in, your hydraulic couplers in, when you're not using the mower, so they don't get dirt or anything in them. They're going to snap in to the hitch assembly into these, and so they've got little ball bearings in here, little springy ball bearings inside the center of this. So it's really nice. Instead of having your plastic or rubber caps that you put on them, you're actually gonna clip them into these metal housings on the back of them. So I've got to put these on. It's just a bolt, flat washer, crush washer on these, real simple. So I need to add these. And also I got to looking at this. So we're gonna get a look of the inside of the mower, or the underneath, right? So here are your blades, your hammer blades. So we've got our roller here, right? And I am going to drop this roller. If you'll look right now, it's in its first position, and it is the roller is going to be right here on the ground. It's going to be a low cut, right? It's going to be too close. It's going to, if I don't have the top top link adjusted right, it's going to scalp the ground and everything. So I'm gonna move this roller down. I'm gonna try to do it while it's sitting in this position, because I can actually get both sides of that and kind of maneuver this. This is the good thing about a ditch bank flail mower. It makes it really easy for you to work on it, because you can angle it up in the air and get under here. So I'm gonna move this down. If you've watched my last Victory flail mower setup, ditch bank setup, you know that I had some fun with that roller, and I'm gonna make sure I don't do that again. There's only 2 bolts on this that you take off, you move it, and then you put the bolts back in. So we'll do that. Then, so I didn't talk about that last night. So I'm gonna get both of those in there, then we'll get oil in it, and I'll get the PTO shaft. It's early. It's real early. I'll get the PTO shaft cut, put on, and then we'll be ready to go. All right, so I've got my 80W90 gear oil that I'm gonna put in. This is a Valvoline Daily Protection. That's what I like to use. Use whatever you want. All right, so I've gone around everywhere and put grease in all the grease points. Now, you've got your roller, you've got the belts, you've got the other side. It even kind of spewed out a little there. You've got this here. This is the other end of that roller. But then you've also, this is a embankment flail mower, a ditch bank flail mower that offsets, and it's using these hydraulic cylinders for this. So you've got to go in and make sure that you put grease in all of these points. Any of these moving areas over here, right? They've got grease zerks on them to take grease. So we want to make sure that everything that needs grease has it. And I couldn't do it. I could not do it. So I went around to the loader and put grease in here. It, you know, it had that factory stuff in there, but I just couldn't not do this. So I did it on both sides to make sure that the loader is good and taken care of. I couldn't bring myself to go out there and use this thing without grease everywhere that she needs it. So, all right. So we've got PTO shaft is cut and done. We've got her topped off with gear oil. We've got grease everywhere that we're supposed to have grease. I've got this aligned the way I want it behind the tractor using the 3-point arms, right? Using the side links, the arms themselves, and the stabilizer bars under there. So I've got it right where I want it. And yeah, I think we are about ready to do some cutting with this. So I'm gonna wait just a little bit until it cools off just a little bit, and then we'll get out there and we'll put her to work. All right, it is just about 7 o'clock in the evening, and the temperature is finally starting to drop a little. So I think it's about time to take this sucker out. All right, here's the deal. I don't have any fluid in these tires. Now, I'm not sitting up as high as my cab, but it's still, you know, it'll make you pucker. So I'm gonna do as much as I can on this grade, and we'll see what happens. All right, so the other thing is I don't have reverse mirrors, so it's gonna be weird. All right. Let's go ahead and move her out. All right, PTO. Bring it up to speed. All right, here we go. she's cutting good. Also, right here in my tractor, I feel a little nervous, and I don't right now. I feel really good up here. Adjusting the descent control knob so whenever I lower it, it doesn't slam on the ground. That's good. All right, here we go. This would usually bother me, but it doesn't. This tractor feels really comfortable on the ground, lower down than what I'm used to. That big hole I just went through, that always gave me the pucker. All right, this, I'm gonna see what this is like. Just a different feeling. All right. Got to be careful turning around right here. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to get up on a little bit more of an angle. Drop that. All right, here we go. Oh, this is great. I like the cut height too. Just doing this over and over again, you just kind of understand what to do to get that height that you want without having to make a whole bunch of adjustments. This really is the first time I've ever done it where I set it beforehand and it was really, it's doing exactly what I wanted it. So right here, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. But I also know that I have this heavy mower hanging off the side over here, right? So it's adding more weight way out there. So that's good for this. So, but I'm going really slow at the moment. I mean, this is some nasty stuff. I'm gonna tell you something. This thing did a really good job. Did a really good job. Let y'all look down there. There's some garbage. I apologize. I've got a huge pile of it over here by my rear tire that I've picked up. But man, look at that down there. And I was able to get up on the side just fine in this. It felt so comfortable. And I mean, with filled tires, man, this thing would be great. But the mower just did a great job. I'll let you see my pile of garbage. Look at that. Every week. Every week. But look along this fence line. Let's see, can I get, so right here we've got some barbed wire, so I couldn't get into it right here. But if you look next to it, I mean, it just took, look at that, it did great. And there was some thick stuff in there. 1 inch saplings, definitely. Maybe a little larger than that. So that's what was here. And this is what it looks like now. Look at that. I mean, just right down that fence line, it did a great job. Great job. So I'm extremely happy with this mower. If you've got a compact tractor and you're looking for a ditch bank flail mower, this does a great job. This is the standard duty. They have one up. This is the trim. They have the torque, which is the medium duty, and then they have the tank, which is the heavy duty. And this was just done with the trim, the standard duty. This did a great job. So I'm really happy with this mower and how it operated. And the tractor, man, that tractor did fantastic. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. All right, well, I think that's gonna be it for this video. Finally, it was a long one A lot of work went into it, but I really, really appreciate y'all watching. Really appreciate all the subscribers. Thank you so much. And, you know, just, it's awesome to see this channel grow like this. Didn't even mean to, but it's awesome to see this. So I really appreciate it. And Lord willing, I'll see y'all on the next one.